Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today we got the Season 4 Reloaded update, or the 1.21 update in Warzone, MW2, and DMZ, which of course contains a bunch of content, gameplay updates, weapon changes, all sorts of stuff like that. We're going to be diving right into the patch notes. We've got the Season 4 Reloaded notes now live. As we get into these, quick reminder, if you are new to the channel, every day I got you covered with all things going on in COD, news, updates, patch notes, loadouts, you name it, it's right here. So be sure to hit that subscribe button, join us on the road to 1 million subs, and if you enjoy the video, let me know by dropping a like on it as well. But getting into the July 12th update, for global updates here, this update contains several fixes for known crashes. We continue to prioritize increased stability and crash fixes across all platforms. Always a nice patch note to see. They don't get into specifics, but it's nice that some of the stability is being improved. And we also have an update to the battle pass. The classified sector is now unlocked, featuring the MX Guardian, and to do this one, to actually complete it, it's going to work a bit different. You basically have to go through and do all the shotgun challenges to unlock this sector and get the MX Guardian for free. We also have the boys operator collab happening throughout the upcoming few days. There's going to be different operators here dropping on different days between Starlight, Homelander, and then also Black Noir. We've also got Izzy dropping as well. And we've got the new Diabolical Camo Challenge event. This is going to be the base camo. Then this is going to be the max camo. If you get the base camo for every single weapon category, you'll end up getting the max camo there as well. We obviously have the MX Guardian shotgun. This is going to be unlockable via the Battle Pass classified sector as mentioned. And then we get into the actual real patch notes here. So in general, semi-auto and burst weapon shot queuing improvements. We've improved shot queuing to better detect intended weapon fire events and prevent the occasional jamming effect. This results in a smoother firing experience for most pistols and semi-auto battle rifles. That's kind of a neat update. Base weapon stat bars have been updated to more accurately reflect their functionality. Attachment stat values have been updated to more accurately reflect their functionality. We'll see if that's actually true, because quite frankly, the in-game stat bars and whatnot are always super inaccurate. We also have some new attachments with the underbarrel. We've got the Corvus Torch Dragon's Breath packed underbarrel shotgun, available to all weapons that are compatible with underbarrel shotguns. Yes, that's what we need, is more Dragon's Breath. Weapon balancing in Warzone. At the start of Season 4, weapons in Warzone saw a significant change to their damage profiles, which resulted in an overall increase of the duration of engagements, slower TTK. With Season 4 Reloaded, we are placing a bigger emphasis on accuracy in gunfights. To achieve this, every weapon has had its Warzone damage profiles adjusted to fit this new balanced paradigm, with additional attention given to the most dominant weapons. While this change will result in a wider range of time to kill values, meaning some weapons will be able to kill faster when fired more accurately and slower when not, it allows weapons the necessary pace to feel more distinct and promotes an ecosystem where each weapon class can excel. Interesting. So for SMGs, the ISO did catch a nerf. They reduced the close range damage, they reduced the headshot damage in MW2 only, and they also increased the hip fire spread as well. Then on the VASNEV, they reduced the close to mid damage distance. That's kind of an interesting nerf. Surprised that we're seeing this VASNEV nerf, maybe, but also the CDL season's over, so they can actually nerf their main weapons now. Rifles, on the Kastov 7.62, they reduced the headshot damage in Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer. They also in general increased the time to ADS. For the 74U, they reduced the headshot damage in MW2. They also increased the general hip spread. The Tag 56 also got nerfed because it was a main CDL weapon now, and the season's over yet again. They reduced the headshot damage in multiplayer as well. For shotguns, on the KV broadside, they increased the mid-range damage in MW2. That's kind of interesting. The Bryson 800 reduced the damage to head, upper torso, legs, and arms. They also reduced the damage range slightly. Those are both multiplayer exclusive. On the Bryson 890, they reduced the damage to arms, increased the damage to the lower torso, and increased the ADS movement speed in general, the first two being multiplayer only. On the Expedite, they increased the damage to the head and upper torso in multiplayer only, but in general, they reduced the ADS times and then reduced the hip spread. For marksman rifles, for MW2 only, they reduced the neck location damage and the close to mid-range damage on the Tempest Torrent, but in general, they increased the time to ADS. The EBR got a reduced ADS movement speed and reduced hip strafe speed. The Lockwood MK2 reduced time to ADS and movement increase. No one's using the Lockwood even with this update. And then also the SAB, it got a movement increase in general. For weapon bug fixes, they fixed an issue with the underbarrel grenade launchers that prevented the explosion effects from occurring. On the Lab 330, the Cavalry barrel attachments now displays that it'll block muzzle attachments. The F-Tac Siege Super Tac V attachment now displays that it'll block muzzles. And then they fixed a crash that could occur when equipping the Liquid Hot blueprint and changing the receivers. So an interesting weapon update. I think most of it's going to be valued with the basic damage profile changes to boost the accuracy benefits, I guess, but the actual patch notes, we actually get an interesting mix of Modern Warfare 2 changes, but overall, this doesn't look too meta changing, at least on face value. We'll have to see though what else ended up changing with the accuracy benefits basically that they described there. Anyways, moving on, audio, they decreased how often the low ammo voiceover alert plays. Also some audio bug fixes. They fixed an issue where standard sounds would sometimes not function, fixed an issue where the final hit marker didn't play, fixed an issue where shock stick electrocute sounds did not play. So no actual meaningful audio improvements, unfortunately. We're looking for footstep audio improvement and stuff like that. Nothing of that sort mentioned here. For social, there's the party browser now. They've made some adjustments to that. Also, community feedback with in-game surveys, those are going to appear more. Basically, we've seen these in COD for some time though. For UI and UX on adjustments here, an in-game notification now displays when the player acquires a battle pass token. They streamlined the weapon progression menu as well. We also have a bunch of different bug fixes here. So an issue where the Heated Madness barrel was showing incorrect attachment skins, an issue where the Survivor perk was not sending players into last stands, an issue where the Hostage in Hostage Rescue was not dropping to the ground properly, a crash that would occur when equipping the Liquid Hot Blueprint, we already mentioned that one, an exploit where players could equip unobtainable camos on PlayStation, an issue where private matches were not supporting 32 players, an issue where players would be shown as kicked and left the match in the feed, so when they left the match it always showed player kicked, player kicked, player kicked. Nice to see that one fixed. An issue where there was a loading screen placeholder, some issues with the Bryson 800 and 890, the barrels again that was already mentioned, the FTAC that was already mentioned, an issue where equipping a fast draw rear grip to a handgun blueprint with a Kimbo would cause the player to clip through the floor. Interesting one there. An issue where the gameplay tips option would be reset. Hey, finally, that's been a thing for like 2 seasons. An issue where the riot shield would persist on the gun table. An issue where the players' squad mates didn't have friendly and squad UI indicators in ground war. Another Q900 Bruin issue here. An issue where the gas mask overlay would stay on the screen after dying. That's a pretty big one there. An issue where the Royal Combat Knife would display a placeholder. An issue where stowing an item when reloading it would cause players to lose control of their camera. An issue where players would be unable to swap loadouts in the firing range, and then also an issue where some vehicles would prevent exiting cleanly. Then on PC, keyboard and mouse and gamepad players now have the ability to easily swap items in their backpack. The loadout system now enables players to effortlessly switch their primary and secondary weapons. Overall, some decent bug fixes, some much needed ones. Pretty standard though for the most part. We do have the finale for the Adamgrad raid, of course, going on there. There's also been some adjustments to co-op and spec ops in general. If you want to read the exact details here, feel free to pause the video for that. Then we get into the multiplayer side of things. We also obviously have Vondel Waterfront as a brand new addition there. The playlists for this week are listed. General adjustments: the vehicles in Santacenia border crossing are no longer going to explode. They can still be damaged but can't kill anybody. Interesting. Improved hit reg on dummy models. Woohoo. Can we improve the hit reg in the game though? Reactive operator skins will now show effects in the firing range. A couple of bug fixes here. An issue where the dummies would not return to the standing state in the firing range. A small number of issues affecting accuracy tracking when players switched weapons. An issue where the survivor perk was not sending into last stand. We already covered that. An issue where the player squad mates didn't have the UI. Again, same deal. Why are we just repeating the patch notes to make it look like there's more? I feel like that doesn't seem necessary. We just covered all of these. MW2 ranks play. Also, you can't use the brand new MX Guardian. They're like, hey guys, new shotgun. It's going to be great. Also, it's not allowed in ranks play because it's going to be too good. We then get into the Warzone specific stuff here. We obviously have the Temp V field upgrades now available and everything but ranked play, including DMZ as well. The playlist update for this week, we've got Battle Royale ranked trios, of course. We've also got Battle Royale on Vondel with solos, duos, and quads. For Resurgence on Vondels, it's solos and quads. Ashika Island is duos. The map rotation is going to be trios, so it'll go back and forth with Vondel and Ashika trios there. Then also Plunder is back on Al Mazrah, but there's no standard Battle Royale on Al Mazrah. Map rotations will occur every 15 minutes. So every 15 minutes, trios is going to be switching between maps. That seems a little excessive, but it is what it is. To celebrate the launch of bringing Battle Royale to Vondel for the first time, the opening week of Season 4 Reloaded will focus on that, with Battle Royale returning to Al Mazrah across the remainder of the season. We obviously have the new Gulag available for Vondel as well. This is basically prison showers, but just reskinned. There's new billboards now on the map, so we got crazy map changes. Some new features, map rotation, we're talking about that again. Firing range, quality of life. Players now have the option to apply 1, 2, or 3 armor plates. Finally! That's long overdue, but that's a solid update there because now you can actually test Warzone damage on the firing range targets and see how accurate your weapons are going to be with that. Some gameplay updates here. All maps, all modes. Plate carriers will now drop when an enemy player is eliminated. That's cool. Added 3 new types of plate carriers: medic, comms, and stealth. Al-Mazrah Battle Royale Cash Drop Public Event. This new event will spawn 3 planes that will drop a combined total of 12 crates. Each crate will spawn 10 grand and some armor plates. The event has a chance to occur in the 3rd and 5th circles. On Vondel, we've got the personal redeploy drone. This is basically like what we saw back in Warzone 1, but only one player can use it, which is weird. Vondel Battle Royale and Resurgence, the signal intelligence contracts coming over from DMZ. The occupation scan public event is also returning. And then we've got the communal stations public event on all Resurgence. Once that's disabled, a series of deployable buy stations will drop onto the field at random for any player to use. So they just want buybacks to happen more there. Various adjustments for all modes, armor and ammo boxes. Lethal and tactical equipment refill behavior will now match ammunition. Armor and ammo boxes will now drop additional items that did not fit into the active loadout slots to the ground. For redeploy elevation, the elevation at which players redeploy to the field now reduced by 9% every circle, so you can't float for as long there. The reduction stops at circle 8 and remains constant. The total difference in height from the start of the match until the last adjustment's about 60%. So that's definitely a thing that's meant for ranked, I feel like, essentially just trying to basically cheese extra SR by floating in the air. Gas mask animation that automatically starts when players are airborne will be interrupted if a player decides to pull their parachute. Thank you. Bird's Eye when using a UAV in combination with Bird's Eye, players under the effect of Ghost are now revealed there. Medicine cabinets, they reduce the number of stims that spawn to 1 instead of 2. Then on Vondel, there's been a cash increase as well, which is nice to see. Weapons. To reiterate the weapon adjustments that specifically impact Warzone, they're just repeating what exactly we read earlier. The ranked play, you're not allowed to use the new MX Guardian there either, so it's banned in all ranked modes there. UI and UX, we got a lot of updates here. Armor plate count, players will now be able to view the total number of unequipped plates that they are carrying. Backpack, players will now see a backpack full notification at the bottom of their UI for ease of use. Buyback value, the amount of cash that an eliminated player will respawn with upon redeployment will now be indicated. Love that. Champions quest rewards are now shown in the after action report. Kill cam recap. Eliminated players will now see a summary of the enemy players that contributed to their death. This includes the number of shots made. That's kind of interesting. Resurgence improvements. General improvements to the Resurgence interface, especially when spectating. The squad widget has also been improved to better indicate that a squad member redeployment is imminent. The new ask to be cautious ping. Players can now ping their living squad members when the majority of the team has been eliminated to suggest cautious play to avoid a wipe. That's kind of funny. We also have some standard bug fixes here. An issue that was causing players to spawn outside of the playable area. An issue that allowed players in an active gulag to eliminate spectators with a Semtex. An issue that allowed squads to earn experience by shooting down their own redeploy stations. An issue that caused players to redeploy with items in their backpack. An issue with the after action report after lockdown. An issue where sometimes players will get a bounty contract for another player that's in the gulag. An issue where dropped riot shields wouldn't be equipped. An issue where dying at the same time as the resurgence window being disabled allowed players to keep respawning. That was a thing all the way back in Warzone 1. An issue where players might lose their ammo after using a redeploy drone. An issue where backing out of Warzone Battle Royale ranked match would leave weapon restrictions on when returning to standard Battle Royale. An issue where the gas mask overlay could stay. Already been there. We also have some DMZ updates as well. There are new reports of a new enemy force attempting to infiltrate Building 21. Interesting, some updates for that. Temp V has arrived as well. Adjustments. Players can now see the progress they made on their upgrade missions in the after action report. Increase the time to plea for help to 20 seconds. The plea for help timer that triggers after you're the last player on a squad eliminated will now pause while holding down that plea button. Basically just all QOL updates for that. Players hunting players. If a player in their squad kill too many players in DMZ, that high kill individual player will be issued a warning. If they kill another player, they can expect a bounty on their head. So they don't want you PvPing as much within DMZ. That seems very odd to me, but it is what it is, I guess. There's also several bug fixes here. If you want to read the full details, feel free to go ahead and pause. There's quite a few issues listed here, and then that's the remainder of them as well if you want to pause and read through the exact details there. Most of them seem to be mission specific based off of how many times I'm seeing the word mission repeated through all of these, right? Good luck, have fun, so on and so forth. So those are all these Season 4 Reloaded update patch notes. Interesting changes here, and there are a lot of quality of life updates, some gameplay fixes, some interesting weapon changes that I'm curious to see how they'll actually affect the meta. But that's going to wrap things up for this video. If you enjoyed, let me know by dropping a like on the video. If you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all things going on in COD. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I will catch you guys later. Peace out.